Let's open that bottle of pink champagne. Who cares now if it rains? All my love tonight. You got all my love tonight. Let's find that old wedding dress. We both know what happens next. All my love tonight. You got all my love tonight. Alright. If it's 2 a.m., honey, let's do it all over again. All my love tonight. You got all my love tonight. Let's climb the roof, stare at the stars, drinking in the night, find who we are. All my love tonight. You got all my love tonight. Oh, sweet love, you got me rolling down the river. Oh, sweet love, you got me wrapped around your finger. Honey, I'll never be the same. It started with a bottle of pink champagne. Take away my breath, kiss me till there's nothing left. All my love tonight, you got all my love tonight. Sun is rising over the moon.
Thanks for coming, everybody. On behalf of Adam and Abby, we're happy to have you here. Abby wanted me to let everybody know that we're going to be giving speeches. If you've got anything to say, if it's laid upon your heart, just come on up and speak. I've got a little mic that doesn't project anything, but it's for the video. So my wife told me to keep it short, so I'll try to keep it short. Can't hear? Okay. All right. You're going to do this. You're going to get married. So my wife asked me, can y'all hear me now? I'll scream it. So I want quiet on the floor. Now, my wife asked me before I got up here, she said, are you nervous? Because she just kind of likes to get under my skin a little bit and just kind of rattle me, like before a big game. She's just like, are you nervous? You think you're going to fail? You're going to fall? No, I'm not nervous. I was thinking I'm not nervous. I've been preparing the speech since I was like 8 years old. And it's a specific age to prepare a speech, especially a best man toast. And I'll explain. So 8 years old is the first time I ever felt what it was like to punch somebody in the face. Right? So my chubby fist, because I was a chubby kid, my chubby fist in the nose of another human. Anybody that's ever punched somebody in the face, you know how it feels. If you connect right, it's a good feeling. So my chubby fist in the nose, and it was Adam's nose. We got in a fight, as we typically do with sports. Adam and I were really competitive. Next door neighbors, we grew up right beside each other. And we would fight all the time. And I don't know why he would continue to hang out with me, but we would get mad at each other. We would start fighting. And at this particular fight, when I knew I was going to have to write this best man speech, Adam was a lot smaller than me at the time, if you believe it. Adam was smaller than me. There was a time. And he was covering his head, defending himself like a prize fighter, getting wailed on. And I kept trying to connect. Nothing was hitting. I was hitting the side of the head, ribs, working the body. And finally, it dawned on me, I'm not a smart guy, but I saw he's wearing gym shorts, right? Fatal flaw. So I yank his gym shorts down, right? He goes to get his gym shorts in humiliation. Directly in the nose. Left his hands wide open. He ran home as he typically would, crying. And I'm yelling, don't tell your mom! Come back, Adam! Come back! And I knew I was going to have to start writing this speech the next day when he's coming back over the creek to play with me again. most of you don't know this town really well, but it's super small, as you can see. There's not many people to hang out with. We didn't have a choice, so he couldn't drive, right? So he had to hang out with me. He didn't have a choice but to hang out with me. So I knew at that moment this was inevitably going to come, that he would one day, when he asked me to be his best man, I thought, yeah, of course. You don't have a choice. I'm your best man. Yes, of course. So I was always older than Adam, always beat up on Adam. I was 1 year older than Adam. I was 2 years older than Abby. So this qualified me, actually, my sophomore year of high school, to drive Adam, a 9th grader, to Abby's 8th grade dance. It's only fitting. I just got my license. I just want to drive anywhere. And I take Adam to their 8th grade, or Abby's 8th grade dance. So we're super excited about it. We're like girls. We get excited about dances. And Adam gets dressed up. I drive him down to Steve and Sandy's house, and we get up out front. And I'm like, all right, here you go. You ready to roll? And he just like, doesn't say anything. You know, Adam, if Adam gets nervous, you've lost him. He's done. I'm like, so you gotta go, man. Have fun. He won't move. Steve and Sandy are coming out of the house, right, to see Adam, to make sure he's not super sketchy, and he won't get out of the car. So I didn't have a choice. I got out of the car, and Mr. Forrester, sir, great to see. Sandy, lovely as always. Abby, wow. Steal my heart away, Abby. Like, beautiful. Where's Adam? Adam is waiting for you. I will present Adam to you. Here he is. Your chariot awaits in my Chevy pickup. Yeah, it's there's a lot of moments like that. It's interesting to note that they have been dating 7th, 8th grade. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. And as I was thinking about it, there's so many things you can say. You can only, like my wife said, keep it short. So there's only so many things I can touch on. And there's so many stories. But you think Abby is, as I've seen Abby grow up, and Steve and Sandy, obviously they know this, Abby is got all the qualities that Adam needs in a wife, right? I mean, she's so personable. She is very intentional, which I think is so rare. Everyone today seems to be on their iPhones or head down, focused on something else. Abby, when she wants to hang out with you, she is very intentional in that she loves people well. She loves Jesus, which is essential and awesome. And she's just a great person. And I think anybody that's been around Abby knows all the great qualities, how sweet she is. And she has Adam now. So Adam, he's clumsy, right? So I've seen Adam fall down, just walk into a car, right? Nothing in front of him, no steps, anything. Falls down. He is, if you've ever seen him eat a salad, you want to throw up. He's licking his fingers, ranch dressing everywhere. He goes tone deaf when he gets nervous. That's interesting. Abby, I'm sure you figured that out by now. If he gets nervous, he just goes 5 octaves higher, and that's just something he does. And he just, that kid on the projector screen. He is, he's also, Adam's got the biggest heart of anybody I've ever met. And he is, can't even look at you right now. He's got the biggest heart of anybody I've ever met. He's the kindest person I've ever met. He is loyal to a fault. He's it's pretty rare to find best friends. So there was a time when I thought, there was a time when I wondered to myself, if Adam and I hadn't been next door neighbors, would we have been best friends? I mean, it's a logical question. You kind of grew up with it. Would we have been best friends? And I don't know. Because it's just sometimes, can't even look at you right now. Your brothers and your family. And that's bigger. It's so much bigger than anything else. And it doesn't matter. So, I'll stay up here all night. Just keep coming. It doesn't matter, because you're put in a situation and you grow up and it's so much deeper. Family is still family when they don't get along. And there's a lot to that. It runs deep. And so I'm sure everyone's wondering, even my wife, what are you driving at? What's your point? Okay, you're up here. My point is this. Sometimes some things are too good for you to screw up. Sometimes God has it in the cards that this is the way it's going to be. And as you get older, you become really grateful for that. The older you get, the more grateful you become. And that's called providence. That's God's providence on your life. And somebody once told me that providence is like Hebrew letters. It only makes sense when you read them backwards. And I think that's the story of Adam and Abby. It only makes sense when you backtrack it. So that's what we all get to witness tomorrow. God's providence on a beautiful, awesome couple. To not having a choice, and that being a great thing. Cheers. Love you.
Well, everybody, being the younger brother, it was inevitable that I was always Abby and Adam's third wheel. Wherever Abby and Adam went, I was there tagging along. There were many dates that I went on, however, there's one in particular that stands out. Abby and Adam were headed to the romantic and luxurious, as you know, Andrews Theater, and of course, I was tagging along because I had won the argument with Mom before. And it was against Abby's will. Now, we all know that Abby is a very bright young woman. However, this was not her shining moment. Oh, this is good. Abby has also embarrassed me multiple times in front of Adam, which I have not forgotten yet. However, this time, I was the one that got the upper hand. So when we arrived at the Andrews Theater, it showed the movies and it showed the show times. And under the movies and the show times, it just said under new management because the Andrews Theater had just recently been sold and put under new management. So Abby thought that she would be clever and try to send me to a different movie. So when she said, "Hudson, what movie do you want to see? Because you're not going to see one with me and Adam tonight," I jokingly pointed back up to the sign and said, "Under new management, Abby," thinking that she wouldn't take anything from it. Abby took that bait, hook, line, and sinker. So Abigail walks up there and she says, "Yes, ma'am, can I get 2 for The Devil Wears Prada and 1 for Under New Management? It's for my little brother." "It's not rated R, is it?" Well, naturally, the ticket clerk became extremely confused. I think I may even had Adam confused. And we had to go through 2 or 3 different ticket clerks to hear Abby's predicament before the manager had to come out and explain to Abby that Under New Management was not a movie. Long story short, I got my seat right next to Adam and Abby in The Devil Wears Prada. So if everyone would, raise their glasses to a toast for Abby and Adam to being under new management. Thank you.
For those of you who don't know me, my name's Rob Ackerman. One of the grooms. Oh, this is really embarrassing. I'm one of the groomsmen, and Adam and Abby and I have a long history. Not quite as long as what Thomas has, but long history nonetheless. Golly, I've said like 5 times. But before I get into any more embarrassing things for myself, I do want to thank Kim and Rusty for this party. It's a great party. The food's delicious, the company's great, and the reason for the celebration is hard to describe, clearly. Abby, Adam, everybody that has the courage or feels compelled to stand here tonight is going to have the challenge and the privilege of trying to put into words what you mean to all of us. A lot, obviously. This would be the time when I would say I don't cry a lot, but you wouldn't believe me. So there's that. I cry more than I'll admit, probably. I'll just say a couple of quick things about each of you. It's hard to do. It's hard to come up with a couple of good things about Adam, but I'll do it. Abby, on the other hand, there is an abundance of things to say. Two things that I really admire about Abby. The first of which is her ambition. I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with Abby through our schooling. We went to college together, and I've been close enough to her to see her do her law school thing. And I've never seen anybody work harder in their schooling, take the initiative, doing extracurriculars, and she's a very ambitious person, and I, for one, admire that. The other one, a little more fun and hopefully not as tear-jerking. Abby is very mischievous. She is a little trickster. And I know if you know her well enough, which all of us probably do, you know the smile, you know the laugh, you know the laying in wait look in her eye, waiting for whatever trick or trap she's set for you to actually set in. There's one example that I was a victim of that comes to mind, and we were freshmen in Chapel Hill, and we had gone to a sushi restaurant, and for some reason I was a completely uncultured 18, 19-year-old kid and had never had sushi. So we're sitting there having sushi, and Abby loves sushi. And my freshman roommate was there as well. So it was the 4 of us, Abby and Adam and my freshman roommate, Walt. And Abby tells me that I should try this green stuff. She says, it's great. She says, it'll totally change the way you look at fish. So, me being gullible and uncultured, put a nice glob of that on my first piece of sushi. And I remember very well, as soon as I put it into my mouth, my freshman roommate, Walt, oh, you're going to regret that. And boy, did I ever. I truly regretted it. Abby always has some little joke, some little trick, some little prank that is always in good humor, and it always brings a smile to the face of anyone who is even a victim of it. So that's a lasting memory I have of Abby. Adam, this is where I'll need to turn my back even more. Adam, there's truly a lot of good things to say about Adam. Thomas spoke about his loyalty. Thanks for that. That was the only thing I could come up with. But thanks for that. No, the thing I admire most about Adam is he's very patient. I am not a very patient person. So I guess maybe there's a theme here. I pick out ambition and patience and traits I don't see in myself to admire in other people. And Adam is a very patient person, and he's a very forgiving person. He has a big heart, as Thomas said. He always has the ability to make you feel better about any difficulty, any challenge, anything you're nervous about. I really don't cry a lot. I know it's hard to believe. He has a big heart, and I can remember some difficult times in my life where my notes said pause for effect. That was kind of long. Where truthfully Adam was there for me, and he always helped me see the brighter side of things. And I really appreciate that. But enough about them individually. We're here to celebrate them together. And I think that Thomas touched on this as well. I think that you two complement each other so well. Adam's patient. Abby, you're a little spark plug. You're ready to go all the time. You guys have the perfect balance. Every characteristic seems to fit the other's characteristics perfectly. I admire that as well. I do see that in my own relationship, though, so that's not one of those things that I don't see in myself. But I will say the one characteristic that I will also touch on that you guys share. It's not necessarily a compliment, but you don't compliment each other, in this way. You actually share this one. But you guys are matchmakers. For those of you who don't know, Adam and Abby introduced me to my fiance, Jadrian. I think she may plan to stand up. No pressure. I don't know. But she may plan to say a thing or two. So I am forever in your debt for that. You also, and I don't want to take all the credit or give you guys all the credit or misgive credit here, but Thomas and Cassie met through Adam and Abby as well. So there's another example. And then in kind of a roundabout way, Dave and Abby's sister Jordan, there's a common denominator of Adam and Abby in that relationship as well. So I would like to propose a toast to the two of you, finding the love in each other you've done so well to see in others. To Adam and Abby.
Okay. Well, my voice carries anyways. So I'm Katie, and I'm so excited and honored to be here with all of y'all tonight, celebrating this weekend for Abby and Adam. So I met Abby when I was a freshman at UNC, and we've been best friends ever since. I was thinking this whole week, I've literally been so excited for this wedding. I was like, what is one quality or one story that I can focus on about Abby? But I really couldn't just narrow it down to one because the girl has so many awesome qualities. Like, Abby's loyal, she's kind, and she's one of the most genuine people that I know. And I mean, she's got great taste in clothes, apparently, and also great taste in men. I remember first time I met Adam, I was like, I feel like we've known each other forever. I mean, the kid is incredibly engaging and just so outgoing, and he immediately won me over when he coined the term dime piece, and I just was immediately in love with Adam. But I can't say enough about how much I'm impressed by these two. The two are actually Abby and Adam and two friends of theirs and I were running in a race in South Carolina a couple weekends ago. My parents were there, and we all had like lunch together, and then we all dispersed. They went back to their friend's house, and my parents just went on and on about how impressed they were by Abby and Adam as a couple, and I was like, they're obviously stating the obvious, but I think that just says a lot. They've spent 3 hours with them, and we're totally impressed by them, which is no surprise, and I just love y'all so much, and I wish y'all nothing but the best and a lifetime full of joy and happiness and friends and family, and I just love y'all so much, and I'm so happy for y'all, and I can't wait for tomorrow to stand up there with y'all and make this official. So, congratulations, Abby and Adam.
So I hope I don't start crying, but I'm not going to make any promises. And now that your expectations are sufficiently lowered, I will begin. My name is Becca, and I am a friend of Abby's from Chapel Hill. We met our freshman year at school, but we didn't actually become friends until our sophomore year. And I will tell you that when I first met Abby, I didn't think that we were going to be such great friends as we are now. I will explain. She had the strongest Southern accent I have ever heard. Why, right, lie. I think those are 3 different words. She was definitely more stylish than I was. I actually wore chino shorts out one night freshman year. So that was a good look. And then she was just a touch more conservative. But Chapel Hill sadly lightened her accent, and my wardrobe became gender and age appropriate, and yeah, we became friends. But Abby and I lived together. We lived in the same apartment building my sophomore year. We lived in the sorority house my junior year. We lived in the same house on Henderson Street my senior year. And there was actually a group of us that did those moves together. And I think we would all agree that we are lucky to have found such great friends in those moves, and we're lucky to be friends with Abby. Abby has one of the most inviting, inclusive, and warm personalities that I've ever met. She is just the kind of person that you always want to be around. I think everybody here would agree that a room is better with Abby in it, which is very true. So much so, aside from politics, the only discussions we got into in college were that she didn't always let us know where she was going when she left the house. Might be a little over the top to have to disclose your exact location every hour, but we couldn't help it. I don't have to worry about that too much anymore, though, because I'm actually tracking her on my cell phone. She's tracking me too, it's okay. But anyway, as I mentioned earlier, we do often talk about how it is amazing that we found such a good and close group of friends that we are so comfortable with, but challenged by at the same time, and as big of a school as Chapel Hill is. And I think it basically boils down to the fact that we are all very compatible at the most basic level. And and when I say compatible, I mean we've got similar priorities, similar values, and I think our moral compasses point in the same general direction. But to paraphrase from a book that has been much discussed on the Hindu listserv, compatibility is the basis for a long-lasting and successful relationship. It's about understanding one another and appreciating how someone reacts to his or her day. There are going to be differences in what you have done and what you even like, but the important similarity is how you are in the world. And I see this in our friendships, and I see it in the couple we're celebrating tonight. Abby and Adam, your happiness is contagious, and it envelops us all. And I'm so happy to be here, so excited for tomorrow. Congratulations, and I love you both.
What's that for? So Adam and Abby looked a little scared when I stood up here, so hopefully I won't disappoint in that way. My name's Jason Rome. I went to college with the two of them, and despite just being 4 days apart, Adam is actually my little brother in our fraternity. So I've always seen him not just as a little brother, but a big brother in a lot of ways. A lot of people know him from high school or college or know him now. Adam and I, we went through one of the hardest years of both of our lives together. So, college is great. You've got all your friends there. You're living with all your friends. Every night's a party. And, now, the kid's knocking out of the park. But the year after college, Adam had just moved to Charlotte. It was we'll call it a murky point in the relationship between Abby and Abby the year after college. And he was working in a job that I unfortunately set him up in. That was one of the worst decisions I ever helped him make. I think your parents probably still have the insurance that you sold them. And so we were living very close, one might say. Adam actually spent a couple months living on my couch. And that time right after college is really tough. You don't really know what you're doing. You're not making enough money. You're on your own for the first time. And I saw a ton of growth from Adam in that year. We went from kind of being these college kids to being full-forming adults. And we learned how to cook for ourselves, and we learned that exercise is an important thing, and you actually have to do it, and so you don't, end up humongous. And we learned how to go to work and balance that with a social life, and it was amazing the strides that we both made that year. My point in that part of the story is no matter how much progress Adam and I made that year, we both had a lot of struggles. No matter how much better he got, there was always a hole. And the Adam with Abby is always better than the Adam without. And it's amazing how far we've come from then. I mean, kid got a great job, promoted 3 or 4 times already, bought a house, remodeled the house, and now he's marrying his high school sweetheart. So, can we applaud, 27 years old. So, the second thing, the reason I hopped up here quickly is because most of Adam's qualities were almost gone from Thomas and Rob. So, I wanted to make sure to sneak one in. You have very limited time to spend with people, and so, I always think it's important to be with people that you're going to be learning something from. And, the one thing that Adam's always had that I've never had in my life is, when Adam is coming to an event, that event is instantly going to be better. It's instantly going to be fun. I've never introduced Adam to a group of people that haven't had a great time and loved him, and a basketball game can turn into a night out. A trip to Knoxville, Tennessee can turn into like an all-night, where you're driving through the night and you don't know where it's going to take you. A trip down to Clemson, South Carolina can land you in jail for the night. And so, not Adam, it was me. Thanks, guys. And I think that's such an amazing thing where, you talked about Abby being very intentional, and I think the same is true for Adam, where he's able to be in the moment with the people he's with, and his only goal is to light up what they're doing. And a lot of us spend time worried about what's happened to us in the past and worrying about what's going to come in the future. And I think that ability to live in the present is really something to be treasured, and I think it'll be awesome for you guys, and I'm really proud of you guys, and so congratulations. Toast to the bride and groom.
Hi, my name's Jordan, and I'm Abby's older sister. And at a very young age, we are always taught to seek the advice of your elders, or that age comes with wisdom. But I've often, am I gonna cry? I find myself calling Abby a lot, even though she's 4 or 5 years younger than me, for her advice. And I do this because Abigail, no offense to you, Brittany, I seek your advice too. That Abby is always very confident of what she believes, what she thinks, and what she does. And so when I call her, I know she's going to give me advice that she really believes in. So Adam, you are marrying a very confident woman, and that can come with some arguments, I know. But she's fighting for what she believes in. I'm so grateful that she is so confident in you and who she has chosen to marry. So thank you. And Abby, thank you for always leading me in the right direction.
So Thomas, I'm really glad that you talked about punching Adam in the face, because I actually ran over Abigail with a golf cart, so I have you beat. And Rob, I'm really glad that you talked about Abby and Adam setting you and Jay up, and Jordan and Dave up, and someone else up, and I'd like to know what happened to me, because I wasn't set up, but that's good. As a family, we've been counting down the days until this wedding, and that's appropriate because that's how Abigail communicates. Abigail communicates in lists and numbers. And so, Adam, I'm sure that you're probably already familiar with this, but it's her favorite way to argue as well. Here are a few hints, some advice on kind of how to handle it, what to look for. Whenever Abigail says one, and it's not one, it's one or an argument has started. Brace yourself, it's happening. 2, B, you've lost. It's done. If she gets to B, you're gone. Save yourself the rest of the alphabet. She'll go to Z if you make her, or infinity. Like, you've lost this argument. And 3, or C, you're going to get to 3 or C because she's determined to do so, whether her point has already been made or not. And I say this to speak to Abigail's cunningness and stubbornness, but also to her intelligence and her determination. And so many of us have already touched on that, and her ambition. As the oldest, you think that your little sister looks up to you, and you hope that she does, and that she wants to follow in your footsteps. But all 5'2" of Abigail has always wanted to go her own way and do her own thing, and she has in fact accomplished things first before Jordan and I. I mean, you look at your older siblings and they drive a car first, they go on their first date, they go to high school, they go to college, and still Abigail's accomplishing things first that weren't even on our radar to accomplish. And so I think that in that regard, she has proven herself numerous times. Clearly, tomorrow takes the cake with that one because she's walking down the aisle before we are. And speaking of that, when your youngest sister gets married, your own relationship status is questioned quite a bit. And people ask you, and since we're using Abigail's numerical system here, mine would be 0. But people often say to me when they hear that my youngest sister's getting married and that I'm older and I'm still single, the response I get often is, good for you. Good for you. You're figuring out life on your own. You're traveling, putting some money in the bank, maybe. People rush in these days. And while I appreciate what they're saying, the truth of the matter is that's not exactly what I totally believe. Because I believe that no matter what age or what circumstance you're in, when you find the person that you love, you stick with it, and it doesn't come because you figured everything out first. And maybe I'm a little biased in that because one of the oldest stories in the book for us foster children is of a 13-year-old boy seeing a dark-haired girl on Peachtree Street, the same street that many of y'all will ride down tomorrow on your way to the wedding. She was in a green Dodge Coronet, and I know that because I'm a Forster, and I know the year, make, and model, 1966, okay? Of course, that was my father seeing my mother for the first time at 13 years old, and if you ask him what his first thought was, the story goes, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. And if you've seen Abigail, you know that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And I would imagine that's probably close to what Adam thought when he first saw Abby. And I'm understanding that there was also a high school love for Adam's parents. And I think that in a society today that tells us we all have to figure it out, it's so refreshing and it's so nice to see a love that started at the very beginning work through it all. Because it's not easy. I have to check my notes now. I fussed at Hudson and told him not to have notes, and here I am. But I think that while we're all here to celebrate Abigail and Adam's future, we're also here to celebrate their past. Because young love isn't easy, and first loves especially are not easy. It takes commitment and conviction to make it work and to get through it. And it takes standing up to a society that tells you you don't know what you're talking about at the age of 16. And it tells you that, you can't really do this. There's so much more of the world to figure out. Well, maybe you're meant to figure out the world with someone else. And I think that's really nice. And that's what I'm so proud of, to be standing here today and celebrating that Abigail and Adam know themselves so well that they had the foresight to see who they could become later on. But again, let's think about my relationship status. I'm a 0, so I don't really have authority in saying that, but you know who does? 1990s country music. Because if you don't believe in young love, that's okay, but 1990s country music, Abigail's favorite, thinks it's the grandest love of all. So Abby and Adam, here's to your kind of love. It's the kind of love that most people can only sing about and maybe listen to when they're going down a dirt road. It's a strawberry wine, never wanted nothing more. She's a wild one, don't take the girl. It's a when you hear Tim McGraw, she's in love with the boy, I can love you like that, deeper than the holler, hypnotize the moon, carrying your love with me, just check yes or no kind of love. I hope it always feels that way.
For those of you who don't know me, my name's Emily, and I have had the complete and utter privilege to live next door to Abby and have gone to law school with her. There are those moments in your life when you truly look back and you realize God was in complete control of the situation. Walking into law school, I had no idea what to expect. I was like, I know nobody. I'm not really sure of my professors. Classes I've heard are tough. Good gracious, what am I going to make it work? And so when I walked into the first day of orientation, I was really nervous. And I got in line for coffee. And I looked to my right, and there's this girl dressed in this cutest little outfit. And I thought, okay. So I introduced myself to her, and she turned around, and we realized we had the same exact name tag, or same exact section and group, which meant we had our classes all together all year long. And in hindsight, I was like, wow, thanks God. That was really easy. The first person I meet in law school, and she's my instant friend for the year. That's when I knew God placed you in my life to be my friend. And friendship's meant to be when you are literally in a very small, confined study room all day long, no windows, and you still like each other when you walk out of the room. That really says a lot about a friendship. But if that wasn't good enough, John and I had bought our house, and we invited Adam and Abby over to come over and see our house, and John tried to convince Abby to buy a house too. And I was thinking in my head, like, that's really far-fetched, John. Like, you can't just convince somebody to buy a house. And sure enough, we look out the window, and there's a for sale sign across the street. And we were like, oh, Abby, you should go look at that. She's out the door finagling the locks on the door and somehow gets herself into the house. And she bought the house and became our neighbor. And I just think, wow, God, like, that's family to me. Abby has become family. And so much so that my own husband broke into her house one night when he was hungry. And poor Abby, scared in her bedroom, didn't know who pushed the number keypad on the security alarm and called the cops on my husband. So that's family. That's got to be family to me. Abby, while we started out as friends the first day of law school, you truly have become family to me. Your grace, your faith, your commitment, your dedication to the people in your life is unlike anyone I've ever met. John and I came to Murphy, and we honestly feel like we know everybody. We were so excited to meet. I felt like I had to remind myself I'd never met. I just walked up to Mr. Forrester, and I was like, it's so great. Oh, I've not met you yet. Hi, I'm Emily. Nice to meet you. But like Becca said, Abby's so inviting that you just feel like you know people. I met Kendall today, one of her best friends, and I had to remind myself I had not met Kendall yet, but I feel like I know Kendall. And that goes to who you are. And Adam, I don't think my husband would have made it through law school with me if it wasn't for you. I sometimes wonder where John is, and I look out the window and I see the white Tahoe, and I'm like, oh, he's next door at Adam and Abby's. Okay, I'll walk over. But thank you for your commitment to the people in your life. You really know what it means to love with all your heart, and I can't be more grateful for that. And so you stood by me on June 1st when I married my best friend. So it's my privilege to stand next to you tomorrow when you marry yours. And on May 8th, when we graduate from law school, we'll have had 2 law degrees and 2 husbands and 2 friendships, and I'm so grateful for that. So I love y'all.
My name is Jadrian. I'm Abby's best friend, and I've known Abby my whole life. She's my family, and I've known Adam a really long time too. And I've thought a lot of tonight, or before tonight, about what I might want to say tonight. And it's funny because if there were any other situation where I would be addressing a group, Abby would write my script for me. She would write it, and she'd be sure it was funny and meaningful and thoughtful. It would be a lot easier on me, but I'm on my own tonight. So some of the things I wanted to say have already been said, and mainly they were that, Abby, you make everything in my life better, and so does Adam. And I think they make everyone's life better. Abby makes everyone's life better, as does Adam. And what's really special is that they make each other's life so much better. They're so complementary, and they bring out the best in each other. And I'm so thankful to have got to watch them grow for the last 10 plus years. And there's so many stories I could tell you guys. I've been with them through it all pretty much. But rather than try to recall some stories, I wrote a poem about them, and it's called The Journey, so I would like to read it to you guys if that's okay. I'm going to try to go slow. Abby and Adam finally tying the knot. If they'd waited much longer, by Steve, Adam may have been shot. From early on, they were a perfect match. At 8th grade prom, I told Abby what a catch. Later in high school, as a third wheel on dates I'd go, Abby and Adam never had the heart to tell me no. Over the coming years, their love grew deep and quick. Funny how, so early on, they knew they'd made the right pick. Then Adam went to college, and Abby cried for a straight 90 days. We really never thought we'd get her out of her sad haze. But then Abby followed suit and moved to Chapel Hill, where we all soon had many thrills. Adam moved to Charlotte, and Abby followed again, where she grew to make many lawyer friends. All the while, their love continued to grow. They're made for each other. When you see them, it's so easy to know. Soon came Franklin, and they grew to a family of 3. Then Adam popped the question, Abby's ring, we couldn't wait to see. Now we're here, hours before their wedding day. The journey continues, and the best is yet to come, I must say. So here's to Abby and Adam in the next 50 plus years. I love you both so much. Cheers.
I thought maybe the longer I wait, the easier it would get, but I'll try to keep it together. So I first met Abby at Carolina, and we had heard about each other before we even met each other. We're both one of 3 girls, and our sisters had gone to Carolina too. But we became really good friends when we both experienced really interesting roommates freshman year at Carolina and wound up moving into Katy the second semester of freshman year. And the first night, we moved in the middle of the night, something was in my bed with me. And I was like, Abby, just completely asleep, completely snuggled up next to me. Twin bed, and we slept the whole night together in bed. And just, I have bonded since then. Our friendship just clicked so easily, as Abby tends to do with everyone that she meets. We tend to be opposites in a lot of ways, even though we click so easily. I tend to play by the rules, and I try to. And Abby is spunky and fun and spontaneous, and knows exactly how to push me to my limits without pushing me too far. And I think sometimes I can reel her back in the other way, but she trusts me to learn how to drive her BMW stick shift down Franklin Street for the first time. We practiced for about 5 minutes in a parking lot, and she's like, "You're ready." I'm like, all right. I think we stalled out about every 5 minutes and laughed all the way down Franklin Street while cars were beeping at us and like pulling around. But it's just been so fun to just go through so many different life stages with you. And I don't even think, I'd heard a lot about Adam before I even met him. And he had probably heard about me too, but when I first met him, I knew that I was important to him. Like, he made a point of like making me feel special and getting to know me, and just speaks to how awesome you are, and how, because I was important to Abby, I was important to you, which is just one of the best qualities. And throughout college, I've seen you guys be together, and I've seen you be apart, and I can truly say that you're so much better together. So I just pray that you keep Christ at the center of your marriage, and know that it will be an awesome one. So, cheers.
Hi y'all. I know it's been a lot of speeches, so I'll keep this quick. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Tori. I go to law school with Abby, and honestly, I never thought going after college, I thought, that's it. You make your close friends in life, you continue on, so you'll never meet those people that, I just never thought I'd have that connection. And I was so lucky and fortunate and blessed to meet Abby my first year of law school, and honestly, she's to this day, I think one of my best, closest friends. And I think that Abigail and Adam are people that obviously are meant for each other, perfect for each other. I think God has literally made that plan for them in life to meet each other. And I think I confirmed myself with that notion when Abigail and I did Bible study last year together. And I one day forgot my Bible, so she let me use hers. And I flipped open, and the first book of the Bible has an inscription in there, and it said, "To Abigail Foster from Adam Williams," and it said 2003. And that year, it was 2013 at that point. And so many thoughts, so many feelings at that moment when I read that. It was very touching, not only that people could stay together that long, but not only that, just have faith, have love, building strength, everything. And it just touched me on so many levels. And I just know that this was the plan made from day one, probably before then. I know God has a plan for everything, and I just felt that y'all are the most perfect couple, and this is really, really God's plan. And I wish you guys both the best in life, but I already know you have it, because this is what it was supposed to be, and I love you both. So, yeah, cheers to that.
I've been thinking about this all day, and I'm just shaking. Hello everyone, for those who don't know me, my name's Steve. Don't worry, I won't go on too long with my speech for two reasons. Firstly, Adam cut 95% of my original speech out, because apparently it wasn't wedding appropriate? And secondly, well, I don't think anyone can understand what I'm saying anyway. To clear a few things up, for those who are wondering who I am, or what is this Australian doing here? I first met Adam when we went to a summer camp and worked together in Hendersonville. It was Adam's sophomore year of college, and we spent approximately 3 to 5 months living and working together at the camp. In that time, I overlooked the fact that Adam has red hair. And from there, many adventures were had and many awesome memories were made. In those adventures, I found myself an honorary fraternity member. I now know how bad chewing tobacco is. It gives me a head spin. And moonshine really isn't that good. But on the other hand, keg stands are really fun. I'm still shaking. Could I really stand this way? Then I met Abby, this lovely, sweet, kind-hearted girl who was Adam's other half. I'd finally met the girl Adam kept talking about. It was great to put a face to the name. Thanks to Abby, I now know that after a 5-minute lecture on what that super long cord hanging next to the fan is for, apparently it's to turn it on and off. I was intoxicated. Abby is full of surprises. There was one time I recall her showing me from her glove box a pistol that was fully loaded and ready to roll. I was very, very impressed. I'm sure she would keep Adam in check with this thing if needed. Since then, every time I speak to these guys, they both always seem very happy together. I feel they both enjoy everything each other has to offer and are a great team to work together in the day-to-day going-ons that life can throw at them. Stop laughing. I'm really nervous. Can anyone understand that? I'd like to thank them both for having me, and very thankful for the opportunity to be part of their special occasion. And wish them all the best for the future. Do I know? I'm really glad it's over.
Hey y'all, so for those who I haven't met, my name's Annie, and I met Abigail probably one of the first couple weeks when we went to Chapel Hill. She was one of my very first new friends that was not from my hometown. And you meet Abby, you feel like you already know her. She is one of the most inviting and personal people you'll ever meet. People will tell her life stories within the first couple meets because they feel like they already know her well enough. But so needless to say, we became friends instantly, and then it continued on. We lived the next 3 years in college together, and then even the year after we graduated, we lived in Charlotte together. So I figured I'd keep this kind of short and sweet. But one of my favorite stories of Abby and Adam is after their engagement party this summer, when we were celebrating them. Party ended, but we decided all to kind of keep going on. So we got into a minivan cab. Abby was in the very front seat. 2 of our friends were in the middle seats, and then there's myself, Adam, and another friend. So Abby was kind of messing with the radio, and then Adam nudged me. He's like, "Hey, you see that girl up there in the front?" Pause. That girl's my fiance. She's gonna be my wife. And he was so proud, and you can just see how much respect he had for Abby and how in love he was. And I think that speaks volumes for their relationship. You see it from both parties that they, respect each other and just are so perfect for each other. So that's all I have. Here's Abby and Adam, one of the best couples that we've ever met. So cheers.
So I was sitting on the bleachers, and as I think Thomas said, here comes in this tall, lanky, thin, red-headed boy. And I'll never forget seeing him come through those doors at Ranger School. But what impressed me about Adam from the very beginning was this. He took my hand and he said, "Hello, it's nice to meet you." And that was a quality as a young man that I've always been appreciative of, is the handshake and how someone can speak like that. And so we've always, well, let's say this, we grew to love Adam very quickly in that relationship. And as my daughter Brittany said, I'm all for the young love relationships. I think we take that for granted. I think that puppy love, if you want to say it, or that young love is just as true as if you wait till you're 30 and you have the same love. It just takes a little more effort to make it work. But I always told my children, I said, if God brings that person into your life, and Brittany's still waiting here, but I said, so this doesn't apply right now. We're taking applications, by the way, tonight. But I always told them, I said, look, if you know that the person that you have met, that God has brought that person into your life, and that you love them, I'm all for it. And I told them, I said, if at such point you can't live up to the standards of which I think God requires in a relationship, I got to pay for your college anyway. And if you want to get married, you'll get married. I had a brother who was married in college. He made it. A lot of people in here probably were married in college and made it. And so I've been for that from the very beginning. And I'm very pleased to say that this has happened in this relationship. It doesn't happen in a lot of relationships, but there's nothing wrong when it does. I think it's a great story. There's a way in which people learn. I'm looking at Danny here, our youth minister for so many years, before he became a pastor. And I'm so pleased to point out Danny and Greta that are here with us tonight. If you all would stand. I'd just like to thank you for being here, and also like to thank you for the impression that you made upon all of our children's life. Brittany was just a little bit ahead of you, but she adores you. Jordan, okay, I thought Jordan was more in the middle. She adores you. Abby was on the tail end, and so when it came time for this event to occur, we owe a lot of credit to Danny and his youth ministry all those years of helping bring these children up in the right way, and we appreciate that. And we're honored to have you. Speaking of learning, being that you were a musician, I think you learn a lot of different ways, but we learn by song sometimes. I'm not going to sing a song, Abby, so don't get too nervous. But it is a song. It's by this guy by the name of Ray Wiley Hubbard. He's known as Mr. Texas. Anybody ever heard of him? I don't know if you have. Don has, because we went on a Western trip and we listened to this. He sings this song. I saw an old dog chasing a rabbit. I saw an old dog chasing a rabbit. I saw an old dog chasing a rabbit. It was on a Sunday about noontime. I says to the rabbit, are you going to make it? I says to the rabbit, are you going to make it? I says to the rabbit, are you going to make it? You know what the rabbit says? Well, I got to. I got to. And that's what I think of when I think about Abby, and I think about Adam, and I think about how good a grammar school period they had in their lives, how good a high school period they had in their lives. They've gone into college, they've done well, they've gone into the careers, and they're doing well. And I think it's that attitude of that rabbit. I got to. I got to. And so, Abby and Adam, what I would encourage you to do, Brittany alluded to this, and I'm not a preacher, but I think something that's more important than commitment in a marriage and making it last is a conviction. A lot of us make commitments, and commitments can be broken. But when you have a conviction about that commitment, you make it work. And so when the hardships are going to come into your life, and they will, I hope you have more good than bad. But when those adversities come, and when you say, am I going to make it to the 8th grade graduation? Am I going to make it to the senior graduation? Am I going to make it through Chapel Hill, as I remember Adam thought about the first year he went? Am I going to make it in my career? Am I going to make it through law school? When it comes to the marriage and the hardships that come, you be like that old rabbit and you say, I got to. Because not only am I committed, but I'm convicted in my heart that when I make those vows tomorrow, God meant it to be forever. And I'm going to do everything I can to make it last. I hope that's what you'll remember. That's my song.
But she has something to say, so I'll go from here. No, we just wanted to thank everybody so much. I feel like we've been to, I don't know, 300 weddings in the last 3 years, but a constant theme at each of the weddings is that the bride or the groom will get up and they'll say that it's just so special to be in a place where you have your favorite people. And that's truly how we feel tonight. We have all our favorite people here. This is the A-team by far. But just want to thank everyone for all the support and the love and everything that they've shown to us through this period. We look forward to everything in the future and spending our lives with you all. And again, we just really appreciate the support and the love that y'all have shown to us.
We can't wait to kick it off tonight.
Yeah.